If you happen to bank with an institution that automatically provides you with a checking account and a savings account, you may want to keep a low balance on your checking account, and here's why. Of course, this will depend on the bank you're with, but normally they'll link your debit card to your checking account. It's probably the default procedure at every bank. So here's the first reason why you want to keep it low. If you happen to lose your debit card and someone gets to make use of it before you manage to report it, or if it gets cloned, it'll be much better that the theft only has about $200 or $300 to spend instead of all your savings. That's what your savings account is for, but we're about to get into that. Of course, many institutions will be able to help you and will investigate, and if someone emptied your checking account, there's a probability that your card issuer returned that money to you. Again, this varies from bank to bank and from card issuer to another. Also, the idea is to keep a low balance, but not that low that you get a fee from your bank for not maintaining the requested minimum balance. Some banks require you to have at least 100, some others don't require you to maintain any balance. Now, am I saying that you should spend that money instead of having it in your checking account? No. Transfer it to your savings account. Unlike your checking account, normally savings accounts aren't linked to anything, and personally, I think it is best to keep it that way. Do not link it to PayPal, Coinbase, or any other digital wallet. Of course, this is always up to you, but I like to see my savings account as my piggy bank, which leads to another good reason to keep your money there instead of your checking account. Normally, your savings account will have a better yield rate and will pay dividends that can be either monthly or quarterly. Ask your bank officer for more information. It might not be a super amazing rate, but while you're not doing anything with that money, like investing it in any opportunity, venture, idea, etc., then isn't it better that at least it keeps generating a little money? Alright, so far we have that you'll protect yourself with a low balance in case of losing your debit card or having it cloned. That instead, your savings account is normally not linked to a card and other instances that can withdraw money from it. And number 3, your savings account will be paying you dividends for keeping it as high as you can, instead of keeping all that money in your checking account. Now, if you manage to have 5K, 10K, 20K, or even more in your savings account, you might want to consider talking to your bank officer and ask them if they offer a high-yield savings account, which most likely they do. Personally, my local bank didn't have a super high-yield rate, not even in the highest paying account, and if you're open to a recommendation, since I've had a credit card with Capital One for years, they have earned my trust. I definitely recommend anyone to check their rates. You can get a credit card with them in the blink of an eye, and then open up a high-yield performance savings account, which will allow you to earn one of the nation's best rates, currently at 2.35% APY. No fees or minimums. I will be leaving the link in the description in case you're interested. Note that it is a referred link. So that's pretty much why I recommend my friends, relatives, and acquaintances to keep the balance of their checking accounts the lowest they can. One last piece of advice is calculate the average amount of money you normally need your checking account to have in order to be able to pay for your weekly expenses. Don't leave it too low that when the automatic Netflix renewal payment comes, your bank will end up charging you a non-sufficient funds penalization. What I would do when I was working at the last 9 to 5 I worked at was that as they would pay me on a weekly basis, I already knew that anything above $250 will go to my savings account. And it's a no-brainer. You can transfer the money from your checking to your savings with your bank's mobile app in less than a minute. That way I was constantly increasing my savings account balance, getting more interest paid from it, and also keeping the amount of money I normally needed in my checking account to keep paying for my day-to-day expenses, and never have a non-sufficient funds fee charged to me. Do this and you'll be surprised at how your savings account keeps growing and growing, which translates into more interest paid to you. This is not professional financial advice, just personal opinions being expressed. Thanks a lot for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Mindset and mentality.